In the harshest corners of our planet, where life seems an impossibility, a remarkable group of plants not only survives but thrives. These are the cacti. They are masters of endurance, living sculptures, forged by sun, wind, and drought. Found in some of the driest deserts and highest mountains, cacti have conquered environments that would defeat almost any other form of life. Their kingdom is one of extremes, a world of scorching days and freezing nights, where water is a rare and precious treasure. They stand as silent sentinels, a testament to the incredible power of evolution to find solutions to the most challenging of problems. Their shapes are wonderfully varied. Some are towering giants, like the saguaro, reaching for the sky. Others are small globular forms, hiding amongst the rocks. Many are covered in a formidable armor of spines, a clear warning to any who might approach. But these plants are more than just their spiky exteriors. They are complex organisms with a fascinating story to tell. A story of resilience, ingenuity, and survival against all odds. To understand the cactus is to understand the very principles of life in extreme conditions, a lesson in how to make the most of what little is available. Over millions of years, they have perfected a unique way of life. They have turned their bodies into living reservoirs, capable of holding water for months or even years. They have transformed their leaves into sharp spines to protect themselves from thirsty animals and the relentless sun. They have even learned to breathe at night, a clever trick to conserve precious moisture during the heat of the day. Every feature, from their waxy skin to their shallow, spreading roots, is a carefully crafted adaptation. It is a design for survival, refined over countless generations in the crucible of the desert. In this journey, we will explore the world of these extraordinary plants. We will travel to the arid landscapes they call home and uncover the secrets behind their incredible ability to endure. We will see how they have mastered the art of survival in a world of scarcity. This is not just a story about plants. It is a story about the power of adaptation and the beauty of life in its most resilient form. We will delve into the science that explains their existence, looking closely at how they function and why they look the way they do. It is a story that has been pieced together by generations of curious minds. To truly understand how cacti survive anything, we will focus our exploration on three main themes. The first is their remarkable adaptability. We will investigate how these plants evolved from more conventional ancestors into the specialists we see today. We will look at the specific strategies they employ to find water. We will look at the specific strategies they employ to store water. We will look at the specific strategies they employ to conserve water. This includes their unique form of photosynthesis. This includes their specialized root systems. This includes the ingenious role their spines in creating shade. This includes the ingenious role their spines in capturing moisture. We will see how every aspect of their biology is fine-tuned for life in the desert. Our second theme is their unique physical properties. The anatomy of a cactus is a marvel of natural engineering. We will examine the physics behind their expandable accordion-like ribs. We will examine the physics behind their thick, waxy skin that minimizes water loss. We will explore how their shapes help them manage extreme temperatures. We will explore how their shapes reflect sunlight. We will explore how their shapes control their internal climate. Using simple mathematics, we can appreciate the efficiency of their design. Specifically, the surface area to volume ratio helps them hold vast quantities of water while losing very little to evaporation. It is a lesson in biomechanics, written in flesh and spine. Finally, we will look at the equipment that has allowed us to uncover these secrets. Science is a process of discovery, and that process relies on tools. We will journey through time, starting with notebooks, pencils, plant presses. Their careful observations and detailed illustrations, preserved in archives, laid the groundwork for everything we know today. These archives are not dusty relics. They are active sources of knowledge. From there, we will move into the modern era. We will see the advanced technology that scientists use in the field and the laboratory. Tools like soil moisture probes, time-lapse cameras, electron microscopes. They help us measure, quantify, and understand the physical and biological processes that were once invisible. This combination of historical archives and cutting-edge science gives us a complete picture, connecting the discoveries of the past with the knowledge of the present to reveal the full story of cactus survival. Throughout this documentary, we will rely heavily on scientific studies and historical archives. Why are these so important? Because science provides the evidence, the how behind the what. It allows us to move beyond simple observation and understand the underlying mechanisms of survival. By looking at controlled experiments and by looking at field data, we can confirm how a cactus stores water or how its spines protect it from the sun. Archives, on the other hand, give us context and a deep sense of history. They show us that our quest for knowledge is a long and continuous journey, built on the work of those who came before us. We are committed to making this journey clear and accessible. You can expect plenty of visuals to bring these concepts to life. We will use stunning cinematography to showcase the beauty of cacti in their natural habitats. We will also employ clear graphics and animations to explain complex ideas, like the physics of water storage or the chemistry of nighttime photosynthesis. Our goal is to make the science behind these amazing plants easy to understand and appreciate without sacrificing accuracy. We want you to see the world as a botanist or a physicist might see it, even for just a moment. Our plan is to unfold this story in 3 acts. First, we will explore the broad theme of adaptability, looking at the evolutionary pressures that shaped these plants. Next, we will zoom in to examine their physical properties, uncovering the brilliant engineering hidden within their anatomy. Finally, we will turn our attention to the tools and methods of science, celebrating the human ingenuity that has allowed us to learn so much. Each part builds on the last, creating a comprehensive portrait of how cacti have mastered the art of survival through a combination of brilliant natural design. So prepare to be amazed by the resilience and ingenuity of the plant kingdom. Join us as we peel back the layers of this spiny subject, using science, history, and stunning imagery to tell the complete story. We will see how simple principles of physics and chemistry, combined with millions of years of evolution, have created one of nature's greatest survivors. It is a story that reveals as much about the process of scientific discovery as it does about the cacti themselves. Let us begin our exploration into their world. The story of the cactus is a story of a great evolutionary gamble. It began around 35 million years ago in the lush tropical forests of what is now South America. The ancestors of today's cacti were not desert dwellers. They were leafy, woody plants living in a world where water was abundant. Archival fossil records from this period, though scarce, show impressions of conventional leaves and thin stems, like roses or shrubs. They were unremarkable, one of many species in a crowded, competitive forest. But the world was changing. Continents drifted and mountain ranges rose. The climate began to shift. The once dependable rains became less frequent. Vast regions started to dry out. For most plants, this was a catastrophe. Unable to cope with prolonged droughts, many species vanished. Yet for the ancestors of cacti, the crisis became an opportunity. Some plants had traits that, by chance, gave them a slight edge. Slightly fleshier stems that could hold more water, smaller leaves that reduced moisture loss. These small advantages, enough in an increasingly arid world. This began a long journey down a new evolutionary path. Plants that survived dry spells passed on their genes. With each generation, survival traits intensified. Stems grew thicker and more succulent. Water reservoirs. Leaves began to shrink. Over millions of years, they shrank further, eventually becoming sharp, hardened spines. Not a conscious choice, but natural selection filtering for water conservation. Evidence is in fossils. and in living cacti today. Pereschia, leafy cacti, living fossils. They retain large, functioning leaves. They retain woody stems, a living glimpse of early cacti, a bridge to the past, a living archive of the evolutionary gamble. Studying their genetics and anatomy lets scientists map the cactus family tree from forest floor to the driest deserts. At the very core of a cactus's adaptability is its unparalleled ability to store water. Its entire body has been redesigned to function as a living canteen. The stem, which in most plants serves mainly as a support structure, has become a vast, specialized reservoir. When the rare desert rains finally arrive, a cactus can absorb a phenomenal amount of water in a very short time. A fully grown saguaro, for example, can soak up as much as 750 liters of water from a single storm. This is enough to sustain it for more than a year, a critical advantage in a place where rain might not fall again for many months. This incredible capacity is made possible by the unique anatomy of the cactus stem. Many species have an accordion-like structure, with deep ribs or pleats running along their length. When the plant is dehydrated, these ribs are narrow and pronounced, the stem looking thin and shrunken. But as it absorbs water, the fleshy tissue swells and the ribs expand, just like a concertina. This simple yet brilliant mechanical design allows the stem's volume to increase dramatically without splitting the skin. It is a masterpiece of biomechanics, enabling the plant to take full advantage of every rare opportunity to drink. Inside the stem, the water is held in specialized cells. These cells contain a thick, mucilaginous substance, a gel-like goo that binds to water molecules. This gooey sap does two important things. First, it makes it harder for the water to evaporate, even when the external temperatures are scorching. Second, it helps the plant hold onto its water more tightly, making it more difficult for thirsty animals to extract it. This internal chemistry is a crucial, unseen part of the cactus's defense system, a hidden lock on its precious water supply. Early botanical archives contain detailed notes from explorers who, upon cutting open a cactus, were surprised by this thick, viscous fluid. The skin of the cactus is the final piece of this water storage puzzle. It is covered by a thick, waxy cuticle, much like the wax on a polished apple, but far more robust. This waterproof layer acts as a nearly perfect seal, drastically reducing water loss to the dry desert air. Studies have shown that a cactus loses water at a rate many hundreds of times slower than a typical leafy plant of the same size. Massive storage capacity, an expandable structure, specialized internal chemistry, and a sealed outer skin makes the cactus a true master of water conservation, perfectly adapted to a life of boom and bust. A plant is nothing without its roots, and the root system of a cactus is just as specialized as the parts we see above ground. While some desert plants have deep taproots that burrow down to find underground water tables, most cacti have taken a different approach. They have developed shallow, extensive root systems that spread out like a vast net just below the surface of the soil. The roots of a large saguaro, for instance, can radiate outwards for more than 15 meters in every direction, yet most of them are only a few centimeters deep. This strategy is not about finding deep, permanent water, but about capturing surface water quickly. This shallow network is designed for one primary purpose: to absorb as much water as possible during the brief, infrequent desert downpours. When it rains, the water soaks only the top layer of the soil before the intense sun can evaporate it. By positioning its roots in this zone, the cactus is perfectly placed to act fast. Within hours of a rainfall, these dormant roots can sprout a flush of new, tiny rain roots. These delicate, ephemeral structures dramatically increase the surface area for water absorption, allowing the plant to drink its fill before the opportunity is lost. Once the soil dries, these temporary roots wither away, conserving the plant's energy. This strategy of waiting and then acting with explosive speed is a hallmark of desert survival. For most of the year, the main roots lie dormant, conserving energy and moisture. They are tough and covered in a protective, cork-like layer that prevents them from losing their own stored water back into the dry soil. It is a state of suspended animation, a patient vigil. Field notes from 19th century botanists, preserved in university archives, often express astonishment at how these seemingly dead roots could spring to life so rapidly after a storm. They documented this process with meticulous drawings, capturing a phenomenon that was, at the time, a profound mystery. The efficiency of this system is remarkable. It allows cacti to thrive even in places where the total annual rainfall is incredibly low, as long as it arrives in concentrated bursts. The plant essentially gambles that when the rain does come, it will be able to capture enough to last until the next event. It is a high-stakes strategy, but one that has paid off handsomely in the arid landscapes they call home. By focusing their energy on the surface, cacti have become the undisputed masters of harvesting the fleeting moisture of the desert, turning ephemeral showers into long-term survival. One of the most extraordinary adaptations of cacti is something we cannot see at all: the way they breathe. All plants need to take in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere for photosynthesis, the process of turning sunlight into energy. They do this through tiny pores on their surfaces called stomata. For most plants, these pores are open during the day, allowing gas exchange to happen while the sun is out. But in the desert, opening pores during the day would be disastrous. The hot, dry air would suck the moisture out of the plant, leading to rapid dehydration. It is a fundamental conflict. To eat, you must open your mouth, but to open your mouth is to lose precious water. Cacti have evolved a brilliant solution to this dilemma. They have separated the process of gas exchange from the process of photosynthesis in time. They keep their stomata tightly sealed during the scorching heat of the day, preventing any water from escaping. Then, in the cool of the night, when the air is more humid and evaporation is minimal, they open their pores. Throughout the night, they take in all the carbon dioxide they will need for the next day. This unique metabolic pathway is known as crassulation acid metabolism, or CAM photosynthesis, named after the stonecrop family of plants where it was first discovered. The carbon dioxide that enters the plant at night cannot be used immediately because there is no sunlight to power photosynthesis. So, the cactus converts it into an organic acid, specifically malic acid, and stores it in the vacuoles of its cells. This is why the tissue of a cactus often tastes slightly sour in the morning. As the sun rises and the day begins, the cactus closes its stomata again, sealing itself off from the dry air. Now, with the plant safely sealed, it begins to break down the stored malic acid, releasing the carbon dioxide back inside its own cells. This internal release of carbon dioxide allows photosynthesis to proceed throughout the day, using the energy of the sun, but without ever having to open its pores to the hostile outside world. It is a clever chemical trick, a form of biological time shifting. The plant effectively does its breathing at night. The plant effectively does its eating during the day. This adaptation is one of the single most important factors enabling cacti to conserve water so effectively. It allows them to thrive in conditions of extreme heat and aridity that would quickly desiccate and kill a plant using standard photosynthesis. It is a hidden, chemical key to their survival. The most iconic feature of a cactus is, undoubtedly, its spines. These sharp, woody structures are a clear and effective defense against most thirsty or hungry animals. In a landscape where food and water are scarce, a succulent, water-filled plant is an obvious target. The dense network of spines creates a formidable physical barrier, making it difficult and painful for herbivores to take a bite. The effectiveness of this armor is evident in the fact that very few animals are specialized to eat cacti. Those that do, like the peccary, often have tough mouths and digestive systems adapted to handle the prickly defense. But the spines do much more than just provide protection. They are, in fact, highly modified leaves. As cacti evolved to minimize water loss, their broad, flat leaves gradually shrank and hardened over millions of years. By transforming leaves into spines, the plant drastically reduced the surface area through which water could be lost via transpiration. This evolutionary trade-off was critical. The plant sacrificed its primary photosynthetic surfaces, the leaves, and shifted that function to its green, fleshy stem. The spines became dead structures, requiring no water or energy to maintain, serving a new set of vital purposes. One of the most important secondary functions of spines is providing shade. While a single spine casts only a tiny shadow, the dense mesh of thousands of spines covering a cactus can significantly reduce the amount of direct sunlight hitting the plant's skin. This creates a boundary layer of still, slightly cooler air around the stem, acting like a personal parasol. This shading helps to lower the surface temperature of the cactus, which in turn reduces water loss and protects the sensitive tissues just beneath the skin from potential sun damage. In some species, the spines are so dense and white that they reflect a significant amount of sunlight, further enhancing this cooling effect. Furthermore, spines play a role in water collection. In foggy coastal deserts like the Atacama in Chile, the spines of cacti are adept at condensing moisture from the air. As fog rolls in, tiny water droplets collect on the surface of the spines. As these droplets grow larger, they run down the spines and drip onto the ground directly above the plant's shallow root system. In this way, the cactus can harvest water directly from the atmosphere, a vital source of moisture in an environment where rain is almost non-existent. From defense to shade to water collection, the humble spine is a multifunctional tool, perfectly engineered for desert life. The story of cactus adaptability is not just one of biology, it is also intertwined with human history. For thousands of years, indigenous peoples of the Americas have lived alongside these remarkable plants, developing a deep understanding of their properties. This traditional ecological knowledge, passed down through generations, represents a vast and invaluable archive of information. Long before modern science, people knew which cacti were edible, which had medicinal properties, and which could provide a life-saving source of water in an emergency. This knowledge was essential for survival in the harsh environments where cacti thrive. For many cultures, cacti were more than just a resource. They were a central part of their spiritual and cultural life. The peyote cactus, with its psychoactive properties, has been used in religious ceremonies for millennia. The fruit of the prickly pear, known as tuna, and its pads, or nopals, have been staple foods in Mexico for centuries. The saguaro cactus holds deep cultural significance for the Tohono O'odham people of the Sonoran Desert, who see the giant cacti as a different form of humanity and celebrate their annual fruit harvest with ceremony. This shared history has forged a profound connection between people and these plants. When European explorers first arrived in the Americas, they were mystified by these strange, spiny plants. Their journals and letters, now held in historical archives, are filled with descriptions of wonder and confusion. Early botanists struggled to classify them, as they looked nothing like the plants of the Old World. They collected specimens, drew detailed illustrations, and sent them back to Europe, where they caused a sensation in botanical gardens. This marked the beginning of the scientific study of cacti, a process that built upon the existing foundation of indigenous knowledge, even if it did not always acknowledge it. Today, this relationship continues to evolve. Cacti are cultivated around the world, both as ornamental plants and for their fruit. Scientists study their unique CAM photosynthesis for clues that could help us engineer more drought-resistant crops, a critical endeavor in our warming world. The resilience of the cactus has become a source of inspiration, a symbol of endurance and survival against the odds. The story of their adaptability is a testament not only to the power of evolution, but also to the enduring human fascination with the natural world and our ability to learn from its ingenious solutions. The physical form of a cactus is a masterclass in natural engineering, sculpted by the unyielding laws of physics. Its shape is not an accident of nature. It is a carefully optimized solution to the problem of desert life. One of the most fundamental principles at play is the surface area to volume ratio. To survive, a cactus must store the maximum amount of water possible while exposing the minimum amount of surface to the desiccating sun and wind. This is a simple mathematical concept, but for a cactus, it is the very equation of life. A sphere is the most efficient shape for this purpose, enclosing the largest volume for the smallest surface area. This is why many desert cacti have evolved a globular or barrel-like shape. Compared to a thin, leafy plant with a vast surface area, a barrel cactus is a model of efficiency. Let us consider the numbers. A typical garden plant might have a surface area many times greater than its volume. A barrel cactus, however, works to get this ratio as close to 1 as possible. By minimizing its external surface, it dramatically reduces the area from which precious water can evaporate. This simple geometric principle allows it to hold onto its water reserves for incredibly long periods, a feat that would be impossible for a plant with a less compact form. Other cacti, like the tall columnar saguaro or organ pipe cactus, adopt a different but equally effective geometric strategy. While a column is not as efficient as a sphere, it offers other advantages. Its vertical orientation minimizes the surface area exposed to the intense midday sun when it is directly overhead. Only the very top of the plant receives the full force of the solar radiation. In the morning and evening, when the sun is at a lower angle, its rays are less intense. This self-shading design helps the cactus regulate its temperature, preventing overheating during the hottest part of the day, another critical physical challenge. In the archives of botanical research, we find detailed measurements and calculations made by scientists trying to quantify this efficiency. They meticulously measured the dimensions of different cacti and calculated their surface area to volume ratios. These studies, some dating back over a century, confirm what our eyes can see. The form of a cactus is not random. It is a beautiful and direct expression of mathematical and physical principles, a living sculpture shaped by the necessity of conserving water and managing heat in one of the toughest environments on Earth. The first line of defense for a cactus, its interface with the harsh desert world, is its skin. Known as the epidermis, it is far more than just a simple covering. It is a high-performance material, exquisitely designed to perform several critical tasks at once. Its most important job is to prevent water loss. The epidermis is covered by a thick, waxy layer called the cuticle. This wax is a type of lipid, a fatty substance that is naturally hydrophobic, meaning it repels water. It creates a near-perfect waterproof seal around the entire plant, locking the moisture inside. If you were to look at this waxy cuticle under a microscope, early botanists saw a dense, multi-layered coating with rudimentary instruments. Archival microscope images, though grainy, show this protective layer clearly. Modern electron microscopes reveal even more detail, showing intricate plates of wax layered like tiles on a roof. This structure is incredibly effective. Laboratory studies measuring transpiration rates show that a cactus loses only a tiny fraction of the water that a plant with a normal, unwaxed leaf would lose. This waxy armor is one of the primary reasons a cactus can survive for months without rain. Beneath the waxy cuticle, the epidermal cells themselves are tough and tightly packed. They form a strong, resilient barrier that protects the delicate water-storing tissues within. This skin has to be robust enough to withstand the abrasive force of wind-blown sand. This skin has to be robust enough to withstand the pecking of birds. This skin has to be robust enough to withstand the intense ultraviolet radiation from the sun. The cell walls are reinforced with strong polymers, giving the skin a leathery toughness. This physical resilience prevents minor scratches or punctures from becoming major wounds, which could lead to fatal water loss or infection in the sterile desert environment. Furthermore, the skin is where the cactus breathes, but only under its own strict terms. Dotted across the surface are the stomata, the tiny pores that open for gas exchange. In cacti, these stomata are often sunken into small pits. In cacti, these stomata are often sunken into grooves in the epidermis. This simple structural feature helps to trap a tiny pocket of humid air right at the pore's opening. This pocket acts as a buffer against the dry desert wind, reducing the amount of water that is lost even when the stomata are open during the cool of the night. Every detail of the cactus skin is a testament to efficiency, a physical barrier engineered for maximum protection and minimum loss. Many species of cacti display a feature that is both visually striking and mechanically ingenious: their ribbed stems, their pleated stems. These accordion-like folds are not merely decorative. They are a biomechanical solution to massive and rapid changes in volume. A cactus must swell dramatically when it absorbs water and shrink during long periods of drought. A smooth, rigid skin couldn't handle that. It would limit storage or risk splitting open when fully hydrated. The ribs solve this with elegant simplicity. Dehydrated, deep pleats, angular, shrunken stem. The fleshy tissue has lost water. The structure contracts. When rains come and roots pump water into the stem, the magic happens. Tissue inside the ribs swells, pushing outwards. The pleats unfold, shallower and wider, and the stem's circumference expands. This is the accordion principle in action. It increases water storage hugely without stressing the epidermis. Simple biomechanics explains it. Pleats distribute strain evenly across the surface. Instead of stretching the skin, which would need to be very elastic and potentially weaker, the plant just changes shape. Our understanding of cacti began not in a modern laboratory, but in the wild frontiers of the Americas, with the simple yet essential tools of early explorers and naturalists. The most fundamental piece of equipment was the human mind itself. A curious and observant eye, coupled with a desire to document the unknown. But to turn observation into lasting knowledge, these pioneers relied on a humble toolkit. The field journal, a sturdy, leather-bound notebook, was perhaps the most crucial. Here, they recorded their first impressions, detailed descriptions of a plant's shape, size, color, and the texture of its spines. They noted its location, the type of soil it grew in, and the other plants that lived alongside it. Within the pages of these journals, now preserved in museum and university archives, we find the genesis of cactus science. The written word was accompanied by the pencil and the watercolor brush. Botanical illustration was not just an art form, it was a rigorous scientific practice. Lacking cameras, explorers had to become artists, capturing the precise physical details of each new species. They drew the overall form of the plant, close-ups of its spine clusters, and cross-sections of its flowers and fruit. These illustrations, often colored with paints carried in small, portable tins, were the primary means of communicating their discoveries to the scientific community back in Europe. Alongside the journal and sketchbook, the explorer carried basic measuring tools. A simple ruler or a measuring tape allowed for the first quantitative data to be collected: the height of a columnar cactus, the diameter of a barrel, the length of a spine. A pocket compass was essential for noting the direction a plant was facing and for mapping its location relative to landmarks. A hand lens or magnifying glass, a portable window into a smaller world, allowed for closer examination of the tiny, intricate structures of the flowers or the arrangement of stomata on the stem. These simple tools enabled the first systematic cataloging of cactus diversity. The final, indispensable piece of equipment was the vasculum. This was a sturdy tin or metal box, typically worn over the shoulder on a strap, designed to carry plant specimens back from the field without them being crushed or drying out too quickly. For a small cactus, the whole plant might be collected. For a larger one, a flower, a fruit, or a small piece of the stem would be carefully cut and placed inside. This act of collection was the vital link between the field and the study, allowing the physical specimen to be transported, preserved, and examined in detail by other experts, forming the foundation of botanical collections that we still study today. Once a specimen was brought back from the field, another set of tools came into play, dedicated to the crucial task of preservation. The goal was to create a permanent record of the plant that could be stored, studied, and referenced for centuries. The primary method for this was, and still is, the creation of a herbarium specimen. This involved using a device called a plant press. It consists of two rigid boards, often made of wood, and a series of straps or screws to apply pressure. The fresh cactus specimen, or a thin slice of it, would be carefully arranged on a sheet of absorbent paper, along with a label detailing its collection information. This sheet was then placed between layers of felt or blotting paper, which would wick moisture away from the plant tissue. The entire stack was then placed in the press, and the screws were tightened. Over several weeks, the paper would be changed periodically as it became saturated until the cactus sample was completely dry and flat. This process, though simple, required great care. For succulent plants like cacti, it was particularly challenging, as their high water content meant they could easily rot before they dried. Early botanists developed special techniques, such as slicing the cacti thinly or pre-treating them with alcohol to speed up the process. The resulting pressed and dried specimen, mounted on a stiff sheet of archival paper, became a permanent scientific voucher. These herbarium sheets are treasure troves of information. They preserve the plant's physical form, its DNA, and the original label written by the collector, capturing a specific plant at a specific place and time. Major botanical gardens and museums around the world maintain vast herbaria, some containing millions of specimens collected over hundreds of years. This global library of dried plants is an irreplaceable resource, allowing scientists to track changes in plant diversity, distribution, and even genetics over time. It is a physical archive of life on Earth. For cacti, which are difficult to press effectively due to their bulk, other preservation methods were also used. Flowers and small stems were often preserved in jars of alcohol or formalin, creating what are known as spirit collections. This method has the advantage of preserving the three-dimensional structure of the plant far better than pressing. Looking at these archival jars today, we can see the delicate form of a cactus flower, just as the collector saw it over a century ago. Together, the pressed sheets and spirit collections, created with simple tools and patient techniques, form the bedrock of our taxonomic understanding of the Cactaceae family. While the foundational tools of botany remain relevant, today's field scientist is equipped with an array of advanced technology that allows for a much deeper understanding of how a cactus functions in its natural habitat. To study a cactus's relationship with water, researchers no longer have to wait for rain. They use soil moisture probes, long metal rods that can be inserted into the ground around a cactus. These sensors provide real-time data on the water content of the soil at different depths, allowing scientists to see exactly when and where water becomes available to the plant's root system. This data is often logged automatically, building a detailed picture of the plant's hydration opportunities over months or years. To see how the cactus responds to this water, scientists employ another ingenious device, the sap flow sensor. This tool typically involves placing tiny heated needles into the stem of the cactus. By measuring how quickly the heat dissipates, the sensor can calculate the speed and volume of water moving through the plant's vascular system. This allows researchers to quantify exactly how fast a cactus starts to drink after a rainstorm, and how that water is distributed throughout its body. It is like putting a flow meter on the plant's internal plumbing, revealing the dynamic processes that were previously invisible and only inferred. Time-lapse cameras have revolutionized our ability to observe the slow, deliberate life of a cactus. By setting up a camera to take a single photograph at regular intervals, every minute, every hour, scientists can compress weeks or months of activity into a few seconds of video. This allows us to witness the accordion-like expansion and contraction of a cactus stem as it hydrates and dehydrates. We can watch flowers bloom and flowers fade in an instant and see the almost imperceptible movements of the plant as it tracks the sun across the sky. This equipment turns the slow-motion world of the cactus into a dynamic, observable process. Another powerful tool brought into the field is the portable infrared gas analyzer. This device measures the exchange of gases between the plant and the atmosphere. By clamping a small chamber onto a section of the cactus stem, a scientist can measure the precise amount of carbon dioxide the plant is taking in. This has been instrumental in studying CAM photosynthesis. Researchers can use the analyzer to confirm that the cactus is indeed opening its stomata at night, absorbing CO2 at night, and then keeping them tightly sealed during the day. This equipment provides the hard data, the physical proof of the remarkable chemical adaptations we have discussed. To truly understand the physical properties of cacti, scientists must go beyond what is visible to the naked eye. This requires moving from the field to the laboratory and employing powerful microscopes. The scanning electron microscope, or SEM, is one of the most important tools in this regard. Instead of using light, an SEM uses a focused beam of electrons to scan the surface of a specimen. This gives incredibly high magnification and a stunning three-dimensional view of the microscopic cactus landscape. We can see the intricate, overlapping plates of wax on the cuticle. Botanists use SEMs to examine the fine structure of spines and to reveal the microscopic barbs that make them hard to remove. They study the precise architecture of sunken stomata, measure the depth of the pits, and understand how those pits shelter pores from dry wind. SM images are scientifically valuable and also breathtaking works of art. These images are often colorized by computers to highlight features, changing how we see the cactus surface from a simple skin to a highly engineered, multifunctional material. To look inside cells, we use a different tool, the transmission electron microscope, or TEM. TEM examines ultra-thin slices of tissue, showing internal cell components. We can visualize the large central vacuole where water and malic acid are stored. We can see the chloroplasts, the tiny green powerhouses. That cellular detail is essential for understanding CAM photosynthesis and for revealing mechanisms of water storage in parenchyma tissue, connecting big-scale cactus traits to microscopic machinery. Beyond microscopes, other lab tools reveal unseen properties. X-ray and CT scans, like hospital imaging, let researchers see inside without cutting. They visualize the internal woody skeleton and how it supports flesh. They can track radio-opaque dyes moving through the vascular system. Together, these imaging technologies let scientists peel back the layers. External microtopography, internal cellular structure, revealing the secrets of cactus design at every scale. We have journeyed through the arid landscapes and the microscopic worlds of the cactus. We have seen how these remarkable plants have engineered a unique existence in the harshest corners of our planet. Our exploration has been guided by three central themes: adaptability, physical properties, and the equipment that allows us to understand them. Now, as we draw our journey to a close, we can see how these three threads are woven together into a single, intricate tapestry of survival. The story of the cactus is not just one of biology, physics, or history, but a beautiful synthesis of all three, a complete picture of life pushed to its absolute limits. The incredible adaptability of the cactus is the overarching narrative. We saw how an ancient evolutionary gamble led these plants away from their lush, leafy ancestry and down a path of extreme specialization. This journey gave rise to a suite of brilliant survival strategies. From the clever chemistry of CAM photosynthesis that allows them to breathe at night, to the shallow, opportunistic roots that capture every precious drop of rain, each adaptation is a solution to a life-or-death problem. This adaptability is the creative force, the driving engine of evolution that has sculpted the cactus into the master of the desert that it is today. It is the why behind their existence. These adaptations are expressed through the plant's remarkable physical properties. The adaptability is the concept. The physical form is the execution. The need to store vast quantities of water led to the evolution of a spherical geometry. The need to store vast quantities of water led to the evolution of a columnar geometry. The need to minimize water loss resulted in the development of a thick, waxy cuticle. The need to cope with massive volume changes gave us the accordion-like ribs. The physical properties are where the abstract strategies of survival become concrete, measurable, and visible realities. And it is the equipment of science that allows us to connect the two. The tools, both old and new, are the bridge between the why of adaptation and the how of physics. A 19th century botanist's drawing of a ribbed stem is an early attempt to document a physical property. A modern extensometer measuring that same stem's expansion provides the hard data that explains how that property facilitates the adaptation of water storage. It is through careful observation, measurement, and documentation, using the tools at our disposal, that we can unravel this tapestry and appreciate the genius of its design, thread by intricate thread. This exploration of the cactus has also been a story about the scientific process itself. It highlights the power of human curiosity, the relentless desire to understand the world around us. This journey shows us that science is a cumulative process, built layer by layer over generations. The work of early botanists, who pressed and cataloged specimens, laid the essential groundwork for modern genetics. The temperature readings taken with simple mercury thermometers were the precursors to the sophisticated thermal imaging we use today. This process is also a wonderful marriage of different scientific disciplines. To truly understand a cactus, a biologist's knowledge of evolution and cell function. We also need a physicist's understanding of thermoregulation, fluid dynamics, and material science. We need a chemist to analyze the composition of the waxy cuticle and the mucilage inside the cells. We need even a mathematician to model the efficiency of its geometric form. This ongoing process of discovery is far from over. New technologies will undoubtedly reveal even more secrets hidden within these spiny survivors. Genetic sequencing may uncover the precise evolutionary steps that led to CAM photosynthesis. New imaging techniques might allow us to watch the flow of water through a cactus in real time, in 3 dimensions. The story of the cactus is still being written, and each new discovery not only adds to our knowledge of these specific plants, but also deepens our appreciation for the complexity and ingenuity of the natural world as a whole. The curiosity that drove the first explorers is the same curiosity that drives the scientists of today. Perhaps the most profound is a lesson in resilience. The cactus is a living symbol of the power to endure, to thrive not in spite of adversity, but because of it. Constraints and challenges can be powerful drivers of innovation. The scarcity of water, the intense heat, the relentless sun were not just obstacles. They forged the cactus into a model of efficiency. The cactus offers a blueprint for elegant design. We seek sustainable and efficient solutions. The cactus provides a masterclass. It is solar-powered, it is water harvesting, it is self-regulating, operating with near-perfect efficiency. Form and function seamlessly integrated. Every feature serves multiple purposes. The spines defend, they provide shade, they cool the plant, they collect fog. Finally, the story of how we learned about the cactus celebrates tools of discovery, value in keeping records, building archives, honoring past work. Simple tools like a pencil and paper can be as powerful as a supercomputer. The humble cactus is more than a prickly plant. It is a teacher, an engineer, a historian, an artist, a testament to evolution and physical efficiency. A mirror of our quest for knowledge, its ability to survive almost anything is a story of hope and ingenuity, written in spine and flesh, across the driest landscapes on Earth. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.